In the early days of SpaceX, Elon Musk was on the brink of failure. His rockets were crashing, and investors were losing faith. How did a man, once dismissed as a dreamer, transform a failing company into one of the most powerful forces in space exploration? What made him believe that the impossible could become reality? How did SpaceX go from a series of setbacks to launching crewed missions to the International Space Station? With Mars on the horizon, can Musk really turn his vision into a thriving interplanetary future? The answers may surprise you. Elon Musk, the second richest person in the world, may soon become the first trillionaire. When he founded SpaceX, many dismissed his ambitious goals. Despite facing bankruptcy and taking on massive loans, Musk persevered. A staunch advocate for Mars exploration, he has shared his vision of building a greenhouse and colony on Mars. But where did these groundbreaking ideas come from? Born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa, Musk was a dreamer from a young age, often lost in his thoughts. His mother is May, a Canadian supermodel, and his father, Errol, a successful engineer, influenced his early years. At 10, Musk's parents divorced, and his interest in computers grew. He taught himself programming and at 12, sold his first software, a game called Blast Star, earning $500 in elementary school. Shy and often bullied, Musk moved to Canada at 17 to attend university and avoid military service. In 1992, he moved to the U.S. to study at the University of Pennsylvania. He later enrolled at Stanford University, but dropped out after just 2 days, choosing to pursue technology instead. His famous tweet, "Don't confuse schooling with education," reflects his unconventional path, which eventually led to the creation of SpaceX. It was actually his third company, following Zip2 Corporation and PayPal. In 1995, Musk co-founded Zip2 with his brother Kimball, with backing from a group of Silicon Valley investors. Zip2 provided online city guides to newspapers like the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. While the company was growing, Musk lived in the office and showered at a nearby YMCA. Musk's hard work paid off when Compaq acquired Zip2 in 1999 for $341 million in cash and stock, leaving Musk with $22 million. With their newfound wealth, Musk and Kimball were eager for the next big idea and used their fortune to launch X.com, an online banking company. The following year, X.com merged with another company to form PayPal. Musk was appointed CEO, but his time in charge was short-lived. After a clash with the co-founders, he was fired while on his way to Australia for a much-needed vacation, a trip he later joked about as being the issue with vacations. Even though Musk wasn't CEO of PayPal anymore, he still benefited when eBay acquired PayPal in late 2002. As the largest shareholder of PayPal, Musk received $165 million from the $1.5 billion eBay paid for the company. With this sum, Musk now had enough capital to turn his boldest dreams into reality. Despite being a massive amount of money, $165 million was relatively small when it came to sending rockets to space, but Musk wasn't deterred. The public wasn't initially intrigued by the idea of going to Mars, but Musk's Mars OSIS project sparked significant interest. However, there was one major hurdle. The Mars-bound rocket he needed would cost $65 million, far beyond budget. This challenge led to the creation of SpaceX. Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, SpaceX, was founded with the mission of developing spacecraft for commercial space travel. Musk aimed to reduce the cost of space exploration by a factor of 10, but many were skeptical of his chances for success. In 2006, after 18 months of work, SpaceX revealed its first spacecraft, Dragon. The name was inspired by the song Puff the Magic Dragon, a playful jab at critics who doubted Musk's ambitious space goals. It was also time to complete the first rocket, the Falcon 1. Musk hoped it would be the first privately built rocket to reach orbit, but he didn't anticipate that it would take several years before it was successfully launched. For the next few years, despite receiving funding from the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory, the project seemed to be failing. To make matters worse, SpaceX, which was already deeply in debt, was struggling. The company was about $100 million in the red in 2006. The Falcon 1 launch failed when the rocket crashed into the ocean. Things were looking bleak. After another Falcon 1 failure, SpaceX was on the brink of bankruptcy. If the next launch didn't succeed, the company would likely be forced to shut down. Despite his tough demeanor, Musk has since described 2008 as the worst year of his life. Tesla was still losing money, and SpaceX was facing challenges with the Falcon 1 rocket. The company had a steep learning curve on its way to orbit, but after 4 attempts, they finally got Falcon 1 to fly successfully. Then just before Christmas in 2008, Musk received 2 pieces of good news. NASA awarded SpaceX a $6 billion contract to deliver supplies to the International Space Station. This was a significant vote of confidence in SpaceX's ability to transport cargo into space. However, there was still much work ahead to get larger cargo loads into orbit. The Dragon spacecraft would require more thrust than a Falcon 1 could provide, so SpaceX began working on a larger rocket, the Falcon 9. In 2012, while developing the Falcon 9, SpaceX made history by launching its Dragon spaceship with an unmanned capsule. The capsule successfully delivered supplies to the International Space Station, becoming the first commercial cargo mission to the IS by a private company. It was a major milestone into winning the Super Bowl. Around this time, Musk began to emerge as a central figure in the tech world. His extraordinary career led people to label him as a true visionary. SpaceX's next major project was the Starship, a fully reusable launch vehicle with the ambitious goal of reaching Mars. Elon Musk's dreams were finally coming to fruition as the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla. He is transforming life both on Earth and in space. Tesla's stock has surged in recent years, and SpaceX continues to dominate the conversation. With a market capitalization of over $100 billion, it is now the second most valuable private company in the world. Despite a rough start and numerous setbacks, SpaceX eventually made history by launching rockets and spacecraft into space with a reusable rocket and launch system. Musk's vision allowed him to significantly reduce the cost of space travel. What began with launching cargo and satellites into orbit has now evolved into crewed missions. In 2020, SpaceX completed its first crewed mission, sending NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley to the International Space Station. Just 6 months later, the company launched a 4-person crew into space for a 6-month stay. While Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin has since made strides, SpaceX remained the only commercial spaceflight company capable of transporting astronauts to space at the time, along with working on its futuristic Starship. After 4 failed test flights, SpaceX succeeded in launching and landing the Starship on May 5, 2021. The rocket soared to an altitude of 10 kilometers or about 33,000 feet, and witnessing its perfect landing was a remarkable moment. This Starship is designed to eventually carry astronauts to the Moon and ultimately to Mars. The big question, however, remains, when will this happen? This is the story of SpaceX, a company that wasn't an overnight success. The visionary founders and investors, including NASA, played a pivotal role in its growth into the billion-dollar enterprise it is today. But SpaceX is just one piece of Musk's broader vision. Over the past 5 decades, Musk has also become the CEO of both Tesla and SpaceX, while founding the Boring Company. Alongside his long-term goal of escaping Earth and colonizing Mars, he is a co-founder of OpenAI and Neuralink. From near bankruptcy to sending humans into space, Musk's journey is a testament to the power of relentless ambition and belief in the impossible. But what drives a man to push so hard, even when the odds are stacked against him? Is it the dream of reaching Mars or something deeper, an unwavering desire to change the future? SpaceX has proven that nothing is out of reach, but what's next for Musk and his ventures? Will the Starship land on Mars? And when humanity looks back on this era, we'll remember it as the moment space became our future. If you're interested in groundbreaking discoveries and fascinating stories like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos.